Hello, English 102 students. This is a short video to go over the research project requirements for the final. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share so you can look at the assignment sheet as I do. This is pretty straightforward in terms of what I'm asking you to do, I hope. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Sorry, I got to sneeze. Okay, so instruction sheet based on what we have learned throughout the course of the semester. Write an explication for each of the genres of literature you've studied for this test. An explication is defined by the English department website at Tyler Junior College as an explication is a detailed analysis. To explicate means to unfold, to give detailed explanation of, to develop the implications of, to analyze logically. So in other words, what does this mean? What are we supposed to get out of this? So this is not a plot summary. The works that you choose, you should assume your reader has read the work first. Okay, what you're going to be doing is trying to give the reader more depth to the work than they would have gotten by just. So, in order to unfold the meaning of the work, you'll want to consider some, if not all, of the following questions. Now, this is not. Okay, I want to make that crystal clear. These are brainstorming ideas, so you can think of things you might write once you go in. You have 120 minutes. 2 hours to complete this portion of the test. If you're not completely prepared to write on your work, each of the 3 works, going into it, you're probably going to run out of time or not going to be able to fulfill the requirements. So I want to emphasize that it's quite important that you do the prep work before the test. Okay, off the soapbox. These are not the only things you should consider about the works, but they should get you started. If it helps, think of it is the same type of detailed analysis we did for the poems, where we used steps from 540 to 541. You can review the poetry, introduction to poetry, PowerPoint if you need to. So you're going to do a detailed analysis of each of the 3 types of literature we studied this semester. The above is not a checklist, but I want you to do a detailed mini essay, so 200 to 450 words each, so approximately 750 words minimum. Works where you explain what that works mean. And you have to choose 3 works, 1 from each genre, out of the 9 that are listed below, and I'll get to that in a minute. Each of the explications will be worth 65 points. In addition, at the end of the final, I'd like you to cite your 3 primary sources and your minimum of 4 secondary sources. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but you should have at least 7 citations on each. I think it might help if I send out a correct example of how to cite the textbook, so I may do that shortly. Okay, for the last 5 points of the essay, I want you to write a short paragraph, 4 or 5 sentences, answering the following question. What have you learned this semester? And that's worth your final 5 points. 65 times 3 is 195. Okay, you'll have 2 hours to complete this exam. Please include, I should not have that there. You don't need to include the question sheet. I thought I made all the changes from the brick and mortar, but apparently I had not. Okay, so here are the requirements for each of your explications. It needs to be 250 to 450 words each. MLA citations both within the text and at the end of the final with the MLA works cited page. So you need to cite with a parenthetical citation in the text and have that works cited page at the very end of your final. Clear explications that use solid evidence from the text and from your secondary sources to support them. And then 1 clear, solid paragraph that clearly answers the question. Paragraph's going to be a minimum of 4 sentences. Okay, so here's the reading list for the research project. You're going to choose 1 poem, 1 story, and 1 play. Of the 3 works that you select, please be prepared to write about it on your final and incorporate your pre-prepared research on the work. You can't respond as monitor, so you can't do your research as you're writing the paper. You have to do your research first, print out the articles you're going to use, and take notes on them so you're ready to go completely to write these essays. This is what you can have, and you must show this material to the camera on Canvas in order to get full credit for this paper. I will take off points if you don't show me all this stuff. Your personal notes on the works, please no rough drafts. So you can write notes on some of the things you might talk about or what you might say, but you cannot pre-write a rough draft. You need to have your textbook, the 4 or more articles from one of the library's databases. For this paper, you may only use the databases I list below. Okay, this is non-negotiable. So do pay attention to that list below for the works that you're using. And if you want to pre-prepare your citations for those works, I don't have a problem with that. In fact, that would speed up things at the bottom. I wouldn't necessarily completely write your works cited page, but you can prepare your citations. Okay, so here's the reading list. You need to pick one short story. Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried. Edgar Allan Poe's Cask of Amontillado. It should be The Cask of Amontillado. Flannery O'Connor's A Good Man Is Hard to Find. For your poems, your choices are Ozymandias, Chicago, or Sonnet 18 by Shelley, Sandburg, and Shakespeare, respectively. And then your play choices are Mulatto, The Bear, or Trying to Find Chinatown. Now, I have gone through the databases that I list below, and there are articles on either the author or the work available through one or more of these databases. So if you need help with MLA documentation before you take the quiz, before you take the final, I've been pointing out this research all term, but just to give you the web address one more time for the Al Purdue's MLA formatting. Okay, so here is what you can use for your test. To access these on the front page of your Canvas on the dashboard, you should have links to the following sites. One, the Literary Reference Center. That's one of the first links. If you click on the AVL, you can access Academic Search Premier, Britannica Academic, EBSCOhost, Explora Public Libraries, Gale Literary Sources, Gale Power Search, Gale Virtual Reference Library, InfoTrack, Scribner, and finally the Scribner Writer Series. Websites that I'll let you use. You can use Shmoop, poetryfoundation.org, and don't just, on poetryfoundation.org, just as a tip, don't just stop at putting in the author's name. At the top of the page, it shows you a bunch of different types of articles that it has. Make sure you're investigating all of those. And if you're looking for articles on drama, dramaonlinelibrary.com has good articles as well. Okay, the final portion, the rubric. Carefully read this rubric before you take the test. Make sure you know how you're going to be evaluated, okay? For example, these are all cumulative. So I'm going to give you an average score on your introductions, an average score on your theses, on paragraphs, content, so on and so forth. So it's very important that you know the grading rubric and how you're going to be evaluated on this work. Notice here at the very, very end, you have the 5 points for the paragraph on what you learned this semester. Don't skip it, because 5 points could, make or break, not make or break your grade, but could be the difference between, say, B and a C and A and a B, so on. Okay. Let's see, I think that's about it. So I'm going to stop sharing now. If you have any questions on this work that you're about to do, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. But as long as you're prepared, you've read your articles, you know what they say, you know what information you can get from them, and how you can apply that to your paper, you're going to be fine. Okay. Also, like I said, I'll probably send out a correct version of how to cite the textbook here shortly, so you have that available to you. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or a Canvas message. I'd be happy to answer any thoughts that you have. All right. Good luck, everybody. If you're prepared, you're going to do fine, so don't stress about it.